Hey, welcome to our live every Monday from 6:30 to 7:30 with Chris Lowery, your independent candidate for Jefferson County Sheriff 2026. I go live every Monday from 6:30 to around 7:30. Sometimes we go a little long. Let's give a few minutes for people to chime in, tap in, start watching. If you would, if you're already in here, go ahead and like and share it. See if you can get somebody that you know needs to hear what I have to say. Maybe they got some questions for me and some opportunities for them to share with me some experiences they've had within Jefferson County and the change they're looking for with the Jefferson County government, in particular the sheriff's office. So hopefully everybody's had a great week, great weekend, great week since the last time we did our live. We've had a pretty phenomenal one. Got out, got to meet some folks, do some things. We'll talk about that as people start chiming in here shortly. For people to chime in, tap in, start. All right, good evening, good evening, good evening. This is Chris Lowery, your independent candidate for Jefferson County Sheriff 2026. Doing my weekly live, Facebook Live. I also shoot it out to YouTube and then my personal page for Chris Lowery, and then also the Chris Lowery for Jefferson County Sheriff page. So hopefully everybody's had a great week since last Monday when we spoke. Been a lot of exciting stuff going on. We had our forum last Tuesday, where we got to see the candidates for sheriff, county judge, and some U.S. representatives as well. Big shout out to the Elks Lodge for putting that on for us, give people the opportunity to come out and meet the candidates. Just a nice forum to hear what each prospective candidate for their specific race, what they were standing for, and what they were, what their platform was, what their goals were for when they become the next whatever they're running for, whether that's county judge, sheriff, or U.S. representative, so or congressman. Anyway, so since last week, we've had a very exciting, busy week. Not only did we do the forum, which we was very, very, very satisfied with, thought it went well. I got to meet a lot of new people. Friday, I was asked to be on the lab, which is hosted by Andrea Monk. Her and Brandon Monk offered me to come by there and sit in with them just a little bit more, get to know me and answer some questions that had not been asked of me yet. Just try to get a little bit more about who I am that people specifically had asked about. So, hey, welcome Tiffany. Wait, welcome Kim. Thank you so much. You said I knocked it out of the park. I appreciate that. You said I did a really good job. Thank you so much, Tiffany. I appreciate that. So the awesome thing about that is I had zero prep, right? I didn't do any prep work for it. That's just me. That's raw and uncut. That's what I believe is properly answered from my perspective. And like I said out there, if you watch that forum, some of you are calling it a debate. It was a forum format, but if you watch that, you notice that one of the things I said multiple times is this is not personal, and it's not personal. It's literally about changing leadership within the sheriff's office. Is that we as citizens and voters are not happy with the current trajectory of the Jefferson County as a whole. So it's election time. It's time for change to take place, and let's put people in office that you feel ideas align with yours the most. So I appreciate you recognizing that I had some good responses. Again, that's just me, raw and uncut. So anyway, Friday, like I said, we were on the lab podcast live, which was a very good experience for us. We also went to lunch at the Underwater Seafood here in Pine Bluff. That was the first time I've ever eaten there. Great food. If you haven't had an opportunity to go check that out, I would highly encourage you to go check out Underwater Seafood on Main Street. Brandon and Andrea Monk do a phenomenal job over there. Food was excellent, had great taste, and definitely will be back. So anyway, then this weekend, obviously, I worked some, and then today I went and took part in the observed the MLK parade that was put on in the city of Pine Bluff today. It was pretty cold outside. Wasn't a lot of attendance out there, but there was several people out there. I don't know what the numbers look like, but it was a great experience. Got to meet a few new faces and some ones I've been seeing at other locations that I've been out with. So every week I go live. If you're new to tuning in, I'm Chris Lowery, your independent candidate for Jefferson County Sheriff for November of 26. So looks like we only got about 10 people on here. So let me go ahead and break down what tonight be a little bit about. It's a little bit more about me, a little bit more about my platform. But specifically, I need you guys to pay attention to this because I am seeing a lot of questions about me being on the ballot, the primary, the general election, so forth and so on. So I did a video earlier today and posted it on my Facebook page, but I feel it's worth talking about with you guys, you ladies and gentlemen. All right, so March the 3rd, 2026 is the primary election. What the primary election is that's the opportunity for party candidates to run against each other, meaning if you're registered and running as a Democrat, you'll run against other Democrats. If you're registered and running as a Republican, you will run against other Republicans. I was looking at the data today as, what was it on Ballotpedia. I'm not sure how accurate that is. I think it's pretty accurate. There was none that I saw. There was no one race of any elected candidate that had two Republicans running against it, right? So for that spot. So that means there will not be really a primary for them, right? I mean, they're going to go all the way through the general election. So what that looks like is that anybody running for a specific race, let me pull this up here. I just want to be random because I don't want to like I'm endorsing anybody. But if you look at, let's see, Jefferson County Justice of the Peace District 1, there's 3 names on that list that are under the Democrat party affiliation. So those 3 individuals will be running against themselves or against each other during the primary. And that's happening March the 3rd, 2026. So whoever wins that will go on to the general election. I believe, I don't want to be told I was wrong, but I'm pretty sure using that specific race. Matter of fact, I'll just share this screen with you. Hang on, stand by for just a second. I'll gladly share this with you. So there is no, let's see. All right, so as we go over to that, I'm going to look at my phone to make sure. Yep, so you are saying that. If you look at this race right here, this is according to Ballotpedia.org /Jefferson_County / Arkansas. You see the address right up there. So anyway, there are multiple races going on in regards to the primary. So if you look right here at the Jefferson County Circuit Clerk, there's 2 people running for the Circuit Clerk position. They'll be running against each other. The winner of that, because there is no Republican nominee, will be your Jefferson County Clerk. Same for, that was the Circuit Clerk, and then also the Jefferson County Clerk. And then you can see there's only one, meaning unopposed, for this constable position. And then as we move on down, you got your county judge race. There is 5 people, 5 Democrats, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those individuals running for county judge under the Democrat Party. There is 1 Republican. So he will be on the primary ballot, but he's not running against anybody. So he'll be on the general ballot in November 3rd, 2026 as well. So let's scroll down. More importantly, let's go all the way down to where the Jefferson County Sheriff's race, right? That's the one I can speak on, right? So I can speak on them all, but this is the one that pertains to me. So there are 3 candidates for the Jefferson County Sheriff's position, 2026. So both of the other, there's 3 of us. Myself, I'm running as an independent, and the other 2, the incumbent and the challenger, are both running as Democrats. So they will be going against one another in the primary election, which is, again, March the 3rd. So what that looks like, the analogy that makes sense to me, let me switch this back up here. So the analogy that makes sense to me is it's similar to NFL football, right? So let's just say Democrats picking a party would be like the AFC. Republicans would be like the NFC. So when they have playoffs, I think we're in a playoff position right now. I'm not a big sports guy, but I used to follow football quite a bit. So all Democrats are playing one another, competing against one another to get their nomination, their party's nomination, to go forward to the general election. Some of them, the going forward in the general election in the primary, will mean that they're automatically in because they don't have a Republican or an independent competitor. So as far as the sheriff's race goes, 2 Democrat nominees, they'll be going against each other, where one of them will be victorious, and then that victorious person will then go against me as an independent candidate in the general election, November 3rd, 2026. I hope that clears it up for you guys. It's just, I see there's a lot of confusion on Facebook, and, I've even seen some comments, and, it's just misleading, or actually, some of them were even, kind of like, I can't believe you don't know this. Well, I don't know that there's never been a time like the present now that we need to change in Jefferson County. So I'm not sure. I've never been involved with politics here in Jefferson County to the level I'm at now. But I would say that due to the state of our county government, local governments, that we're completely dissatisfied as citizens, and we're making our voices heard. So we're becoming more knowledgeable. We're becoming empowered to make these decisions. And so maybe that's what's driving some of these questions, right? So hopefully you're a little more understanding that, or have a better comprehension about that, what that looks like. So just know going forward, that's why you're not seeing a lot of signs of mine out. The ones that have been put out by supporters that have asked for signs. I'm not turning anybody away, but I'm not running in the primary race. Mine is the general election. So I'm holding the signs back until we get closer to the general election, which is going to be looking like October timeframe to get ready for the November 3rd, 2026 election. So hopefully that clears that up for you. If it don't, feel free to shoot me some questions, put them in the comments, send them as a text message, 870-556-0330. I'll be glad to try to explain that to you even better or more detailed, but that's what that looks like essentially. Now, there is a lot of stuff to look at, right? There's nonpartisan races coming up in the March primary that will be decided, right? The nonpartisans. So you got some judges up, school boards up, so you need to get out there and place your vote. So please, just do your part, do your civic duty. Let's get out, get vote. If you're not registered to vote, please go tomorrow. Go down to the county clerk's office, get registered to vote, please. That is the most important thing you need to be able to do, is get out, be registered to vote, so your voice will matter. So I know tonight's live is probably not going to have as many followers, just because, well, we're up to 17. That's great. Just because I know the national championship game just kicked off here just a little bit ago. So I appreciate you taking the time to tune into my live and kind of either have the football game on mute or ignoring it or what have you. So anyway, that's what the election cycle looks like with the primary versus the general, right? So hopefully you've been able to get a little bit of comprehension and understanding about that. Again, if you have any questions, confused, go out on Voter View. Let me check that address. I don't want to give you the wrong information. So I'm going to check it right now. I'm fixing to give you an address that tells you where you can go to check your registration, to check to make sure that you are a valid registered voter, right? So Let's see, I'm going to paste that right here. All right, so if you go to voterview.ar-nova.org, fixing to share that screen with you as well, you will have the opportunity to double check that you are a registered voter, right? So I just showed that to you on the screen. That's VoterView, again, a place for you to go just to double check that you are a registered voter. I know specifically recently, I don't know why it didn't show up, but my oldest son, he reached out to me and said, hey, my name's not showing up there. So he's having to re-register. I don't know if it got dropped out because he's in the military or what. He should have been counted with the absentees. So forth and so on. But I would go check that so your voice can matter. But it's part of the Secretary of State's website. You can look right here where you just be able to put your first name, last name, date of birth. You will have to put the name that you're registered in. So like, let's see right here. I'll do mine, for example. So there's mine right there. So that just shows you, because I go by Chris, but I did have to put Christopher in there to be able to double check that. So go out there and check that. Make sure that you are a registered voter, right? If you're not, let's get registered ASAP, because you want your voice. You want your voice heard. You want your voice to be able. You want to be able to cast your vote for the person and the amendments and members that you feel is going to do the best for Jefferson County. So anyway, that's how the primary works. That's how the general election works. That's how you get registered to vote. So with that, I would encourage you, if you have not, if you have not done this, I need you to go to Lowery, Lowery, number 4, sheriff.com and commit to vote for me, right? I know I've got a lot of supporters out there. I just filled up added to my database today. And there's a lot out there, but if you have not done that, I need you to go do that. Lowery4sheriff.com, commit to vote. Please go ahead and do that so that we can know we can count on you. Spread the word, tag your friend, tag your neighbor, tell them what we got to do. This is a long race, ladies and gentlemen. This is a very long race. And so I need every one of you, all your support is not only you telling me, but I need you to help me out. I need you to pass the word. I need you to tag a friend. I need you to help when it comes time. Our next big, it's not even an obstacle, but our next big task will be coming up in February. Where as an independent candidate, we do have to get signatures of voters in Jefferson County, and I'll be reaching out to try to get some of you guys and gals to help me do that. So that's where we're at. The voting process, primary, general, committing to vote for me. And then the next big tasker coming up is the signature is going to be required to run on the independent ticket, which I do not foresee having a problem with. So I'm looking forward to that as well. So, Kim, you said you can do both. Let's see, I missed something there. So, Kristen, you said you sent mine. You haven't heard anything back. Are you talking about you sent your registration card in? You haven't heard anything back? You can go to, if that's what you're saying, you can go to Voter View, like I just showed you over there a second ago. I'll pop it back up there again to allow you to see that. But just go right there to Voter View. You just Google that, Voter View Arkansas, and then you can put your information in right there, and that will put your information right here, and that will allow us to see if it's been submitted. So don't wait on them. You know how the clerk's office and the government works, right? You're liable to get a daggum shutdown, right? So speaking of which, all the more reason to go out there and get registered now. Don't wait till tomorrow, right? Don't wait till next week. Don't put off to tomorrow what you can do today, as my mother used to say, right? Tomorrow never comes. So let's get that done and make sure you're registered. So you're registered under your old last name. Okay. Kim, I see you're watching the game and listening to me. Thank you. You just found your registration, but under the incorrect last name. So I'm not sure if you want to go up to the clerk's office and see what can be done about that, or if there's a way on the website. I'll make a note here to see if there's a way that we can change that. If that were the case, I think using governmental red tape, if voting was tomorrow, what I would encourage you to do is have something with your new name on it and your old last name on it, such as an old driver's license, an old bill, an old, your marriage license that would have had your previous to what your name is now, so forth and so on, something just to be able to validate it, right? So I don't think they're that strict on it, but I do think there will be some kickback, some pushback if you're not as right as you can be. That's my personal opinion, but you could also check with the clerk's office to see what the deal is with that. So yes, I would encourage to get it changed. Hey, Dr. Gwen, thank you. We need all the support and help we can get, and it'll take a little bit of luck too. So just trying to do the right things for the right reasons. As my old mentor told me, if you do the right things for the right reasons, you'll be blessed for it. So thank you. I'll never turn down luck for sure. You just keep doing what you're doing as well. I know there's some people not completely satisfied with the information you put out there, but the best I can tell is everything you push out is truth as you know them at the time that you're pushing it. And then if there's ever any contradictive information, you seem to do a very good job about correcting it. So thank you so much for doing what you're doing for the citizens of Jefferson County. So, court document, Chris Phillips. All right, let's see what Chris says. There are things that happen, so don't wait to check your registration. Yeah, absolutely, Chris. I agree. Highlight your comment there for folks to see. So it's very important that you make sure, like I was saying, don't put off till tomorrow what you can do today. Get registered, right? So tomorrow, go get registered. Check your registration. Go to that voter view. It's very simple. You can do it right on your phone, or you can do it right on any internet connection. You just got to put your legal first name and legal last name in there. And we need to make sure that you are registered to vote. If you're not, get that corrected. Get registered. And then if you're having a name issue or some sort of issue that is changed since the last time you voted, give you time to work with the clerk's office to get that changed. So, Sean Roberts, thank you. Diamond State Exterior Solutions supports Chris Lowery4sheriff. Thank you so much, Sean. Those of you, seeing how you put it out there, you can say Diamond State Exterior Solutions. That's no part of Diamond State K9. That is Sean Roberts. Does a great job with his exterior washing solutions company, and we've used him multiple times. Always been very happy with him and the services he provides and the price point he delivers. Thank you so much. So, I'm sorry, I got distracted because Kathy just said something. It looks like she had a question that I might have. Okay. So Kathy had a question there that says Martin Luther King stood for and preached countless times peace and unity in a community of unity. One of his most powerful statements was he longed for a day when all people were not judged by the color of their skin, but by their character. Please speak on when the years he said this. All right, so I agree with that, Kathy. I mean, it's unfortunate that people are still judged by the color of their skin. People of color, black and brown, have been judged by the color of their skin. People white, like myself, I've specifically have been targeted about that since I've announced my candidacy for the sheriff's office. And I do believe that has got to stop, not just for me. I'm a tough guy. I can handle whatever they throw at me and the nonsense that they say, but not everybody has that strength, that fortitude to get through it. And it's just not right. So we need to do the right things for the right reasons, judge people off of character, judge people off of their work, judge people off on what they're standing for, judge people for just the overall goodness of human beings, and completely get rid of any judgment for their color of their skin, whether they're male or female, what religion they practice, whatever. that is vitally important. And I think that, you know, I just would say that for us to still be having these issues in 2026 is sad. I think the fact that anybody judged for the color of their skin because they're doing one thing or another, that's just sad. I don't think that's anything that we need to be standing for at all, and ought to speak up against that. I was so disheartened or maybe fooled that I didn't think that was going to be an issue during this race. I did not realize that politics was going to be the way that they are currently in Jefferson County. But hey, it is what it is, and all we can do is move past that, right? So let's keep doing the right things for the right reasons. So let's quit judging folks. Quit judging them by the color of their skin, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. Oh, Chris, it says she's printing off a form to change her name and have her husband take it up there tomorrow. So apparently, if you run into that issue, there is a way to print off a name change form. Kristen, was that through the county clerk's office, or was that through the Secretary of State's website? If you don't mind putting that out there, you can share a link or whatever, just wherever you saw that, just any information, because some people don't have the resources that you may have at the time, and we can just try to simplify the process. Because trust me, I'm not calling anybody out in Jefferson County, but I'm telling you, sometimes when you're trying to get information, it's like pulling teeth about what's the dates, what's the right, wrong, or indifferent, what's the left and right boundaries, what's the direction this thing needs to go. I mean, it started way early on for me when I was asking questions, and just like I got the information as efficiently as I would have thought it would have come. So Kristen says that you can get a name change form on the Secretary of State's website. Hey, Keitrick, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate the support you give me. That means the world to me. I don't recall seeing you in the lives before. Maybe you have been. If you do, I apologize. But what I always tell folks is the support that I'm receiving from individuals within Jefferson County is truly humbling. It is a humbling experience to know that people like yourself and your family is willing to step up and support me for doing the right things for the right reasons. That they believe in what I'm saying, and they know that the trajectory of Jefferson County is going downward, and that we have got to step up and stop this crisis that's going on in Jefferson County. And I appreciate it so much that you're looking past any of the nonsense that's being published out there. You're looking at the facts. You're looking at who you believe is the right person for the right job for the right reason. So thank you so much. So that means a lot to me. First timer, thank you for tuning in. It is my pleasure. I try to go live every Monday, 6:30 to 7:30, to just spread the word. Let's see here. It looks like I got behind. I've seen some ugly-hearted folks targeting people for expressing. They'll be voting for you. I've not been targeted yet, but I'm sure it's coming. So, Kim, that's absolutely ridiculous that anybody would be targeted for voting for any particular person. I don't know. I mean, it just, I try not to get too heated on here, but that pisses me off straight up if somebody is being targeted because they've said, hey, I'm voting for Lowery. That's absolutely ridiculous. I'm not running around. I don't think none of my constituents are going around and saying, targeting people for voting for this person or that person. I mean, we are in America, ladies and gentlemen, land of the free, home of the brave. We have the opportunity to cast our vote for the ideals of people that believe most on what we believe, right? Put the right person in the right job. And if anybody is getting, we got some background going on somewhere. If anybody's being targeted, that's absolutely ridiculous. Matter of fact, send them to me. As far as shoot them my direction, screenshot them, send me a text message, whatever. I'm not going to do anything with it other than it's just good to know. Because one thing I've noticed is there's people in this community that will smile to your face and talk that trash behind your back, right? And I just like to know. So like a good buddy of mine, Jeff May, says, I don't care what line you're in, just pick a line so I know what line you're in. You're either the fan line or the hatred line. I just need to know which one you're in. And some people have a problem with joining which line they're in. So if somebody's being targeted in our community because they have voiced their voting for anybody, I don't care if it's for me, if it's for Sheriff Woods, if it's for a city councilman, if it's for a JP, it's your vote. It's your constitutional right to vote, and you should not be admonished or hated on for doing that, point blank. And if any of y'all are doing it, stop it. If you're having it done to you, let me know. Good luck. You should do great. Honest people who care for a community are great for public service. Thank you, Patrick. Yes, I just believe that what I'm doing is for the right reasons. As we looked at this race, some of you who are just now tuning in for the first time, I'll back up a few months to let you know exactly why I decided to run. I'm from this community. I was born and raised here. Graduated high school from Whitehall High School in 1992. Military took me away, and I purposely and intentionally chose to move back here in 2010 to raise my family and be a member of this community. And I just noticed that we have drastically had a population decline with a increase in crime, specifically violent crime. And then as I work in this community and I'm seeing the jail not being open to accepting of inmates or processing of inmates that violate the crime, violate the law, commit crimes against good law-abiding citizens, it just quite frankly frustrated me that we're out there on a daily basis, could take a bullet at any time, and people are allowed to just walk away with a ticket, walk away with a citation for what I would consider violence. I mean, when I say that, I'm talking about felons in possession of guns, so possession by certain persons. I'm talking about people on parole violating the law. I'm talking about people that's been on probation for years violating the law. And DWIs not being processed, right? People driving down the street drunk, possibility of having collisions, killing themselves or killing your family member. And then when we arrest them, you can't take them to jail because the jail's not processing nonviolent offenses. I don't know about you, but I think a felon in possession of a firearm that specifically had been shot because he'd been in a shootout before, that gets about as close to violence as you can, and then they would not process them. And so when I started looking out amongst who was running for the sheriff's office and who was in charge of making these decisions, there was nobody of modern change that was willing to step up and do what I would do, that had the qualifications, the know-how, and the fortitude to step up and be the change that's needed for Jefferson County. So again, y'all heard me say it the other night, this isn't personal against the current sheriff. This is just, we need to change the direction. We need something new. And I've laid out my plan there what I was going to do. So I came up with it, basically just said, if not me, then who? There was nobody else, so here I am. So everybody wants to be sheriff until it comes time to run for sheriff, I guess, is the way I could look at that. And so I'm the one that had the courage to run, the experience to lead us into the next 4 years to get this crime rate down within Jefferson County. So Reagan, yes, there is no way that somebody should be targeted for voicing an opinion about a candidate. That's all I'm going to continue to say about that. Thank you so much. Hey, Ms. Freeman, good to see you the other day. Thank you so much for coming up and speaking with me, allowing me to get a picture made with you. That's awesome. Hopefully your day, each day is getting better and better and better. If you ever need to speak with somebody, you may be aware or not aware of it, but you can reach out to me, and I have some resources that might help you out as well. So you got my phone number. If you need anything, please let me know. Let's see. What does Kim say? It is, I saw that he said about you and you held your ground. So, it is what it is. None about this is personal. People have tried to make it a personal attack, but I will always do my very level best to take the high ground and try my best to set the example for all citizens of Jefferson County and just stick to the issues, right? So, Kelly said, I would encourage everyone to watch the podcast from the lab with Chris. Yeah, it was a great talk. It really was. Andrea Monk, she shared that to our page. Check that out when you have the opportunity. It's a great podcast that she does. We didn't really stay on a whole lot of political of the topics as far as the issues goes. We talked about me and some things that have been said about me amongst the community, some questions people wanted to know, wanted answered. And I thought I did a pretty good job about explaining those and answering those questions, right? And so feel free to go out there and check those out. If you have questions about me still, even if you don't go check that out, shoot them in these comments. I like to say there's no question too tough to answer and no question that deserves to be unanswered. So feel free to shoot them to me. So that's funny, Reagan. I got to highlight that for a second. That's funny. Okay, Arkansas Restorative Initiative, Selena Hill. Okay. Yes, ma'am, Ms. Freeman, absolutely, anytime. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to go back to some of the basics about when I announced I was running, what that looks like for you as your next sheriff. So, I want to clarify, number one initiative is being tough on crime. But what that looks like, because I don't want people to be misconstrued, and because there are people out there that say, oh, he just wants to lock everybody up. That's not what that looks like. It's accountability for people who violate the law. We have a society. A society means you, me, and everybody else lives in the same area, in the same community. There's a set of rules and laws that are put in place, whether they're county ordinances, city ordinances, or state laws that are put into place so we can all cohabitate together. It is not right for you to be infringed upon your rights by someone else who wants to violate the law. Shooting guns, driving drunk, stealing, doing drugs. A bad example of what a decent human being looks like, okay? For them to infringe upon you, so that means that's accountability. The example that I've given multiple times, it's one that I just think makes sense. Everybody, most of you have probably driven a car before. Most of you have probably had some, at least minor interaction with law enforcement. The example I give is if you run a stop sign, that does not mean you get a ticket. That means that the officer stops you on a lawful stop and can correct that at the lowest level. So when I talk about being tough on crime, it's talk about accountability on crime violations. Now, there are some things, Class A misdemeanors and above will require you to go get fingerprinted, photographed, and put in the AFIS system for us to be able to track judiciously and have that process start. Because that is one of my most frustrating things as a law enforcement professional in our community, for that to not be happening currently. And I don't care what they tell you. I do not care what they tell you. That is not happening in Jefferson County. Case in point, been there, done that. I'm the one out on the streets. I'm the one that may make an arrest, and it's not happening. So just understand that changes with me. Then the second part of that, because we are in a crime-ridden community, that means a lot of our loved ones are in the Dub Brazel Detention Center. So 1A is tough on crime. 1B is a safe, humane jail, efficient jail. That means that every law enforcement officer within Jefferson County that uses Dub Brazel Detention Center, if they make a lawful arrest, they're going to be allowed to use our facility to facilitate that arrest. That means that I'm going to use my team to make sure that contraband is at the lowest level possible. Weapons are out of there, cell phones are out of there, security violations are out of there, and that people can go into the Dub Brazel Detention Center and know that they're going to be safe until they have a day in court. And then when they go to court after that, come back until they either go home or move on to another facility. But Sheriff Lowery will make sure that that detention facility is as safe and as humane as possible. We're constitutionally bound to do it, and it's the right thing to do. There are still citizens in that jail. They deserve meals. They deserve safety. They deserve a place to sleep. They deserve a place to be clean. They deserve a way to have visits. They deserve a way to make telephone calls. Just today, I was told by a pastor that he has said that he went up there recently. He did not tell me when, but based off the way he told me the story, is that he went up there within the past 2 weeks because a grandmother in his congregation has a grandson incarcerated at the Dub Brazel Detention Center. And when he went there to try to do a visit, they told him that wouldn't happen. That he needed to fill out this piece of paper, and they would let him know how a visit could happen. And he said that he ain't got no phone calls back. And it's been a couple of weeks. So under the Sheriff Lowery administration, I'm telling you what that looks like is me and my chiefs will come in and make that type of stuff happen. This ain't a Monday through Friday job, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a Monday through Friday job. All right. So anyway, I'm getting on my soapbox and got away from some of the questions. Let me scroll up here. Yep. So Chris right here reminded me to talk to you about the committees of how you can apply and help be part of the change. So what he's talking about is I made the commitment since my announcement that the administration underneath my regime as the next sheriff of Jefferson County will have multiple advisory boards, sheriff's advisory boards, jail advisory boards, community boards, what have you. And so what you're going to want to do is be thinking about that and how you can apply your skill set to that. And you can contact me at 870-556-0330 or Lowery4sheriff at gmail.com. Shoot me an email, send me a text message, a phone call, an email, or send me a message right here on Facebook and let me know this is something you're interested in doing. So we will have a vetting process that we will start placing people in these boards and these advisory panels to ensure that day one, you, me, and everybody involved is already up to snuff, up to speed on what we got to do. Because I'm telling you, day one, first 5 minutes, I'm headed to the jail. I'm going to start cleaning that up. Well, I would love to be able to have this jail advisory board already in place. And they know day one, I'm doing this. Day two, I need you there. Day three, let's make this work, right? So that's definitely something for you to be on the lookout. I'm going to highlight that one more time. Chris says when he just talks about it, the committees and advisory boards. So please, if that is something you want to do, y'all talk about change and you want to be involved in your communities, not running for office is not for everybody. I promise you that. But this is an opportunity for you to be involved with the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office, where not only if you get me elected, your vote matters, but your voice is going to matter. You're going to have a direct line of communication with me and my administrators. You're going to be able to hold us accountable at what is need to be done. The Arkansas Restorative Initiative is going to be people I want to be part of that with the jail. I have different educators, counselors, resource advisors, small business owners. I want this to be a full team effort. I talk about it being a team, fighting crime and getting the jail right and building a relationship with the community. But it's a team, right, to get the sheriff's office headed by me, the next sheriff of Jefferson County. So if that's something that you believe you'd like to be part of, some of you I've already emailed that document to, just for you to be kind of looking at and thinking about. Let's see, Devin. Hey, Devin, can you expand on what currently happens when you make an arrest the jail won't take versus what could happen if they could be processed? Because processing them doesn't necessarily mean holding them. Is that correct? So that's absolutely right, Devin. So here's what happens. On a nonviolent offense, currently on more times than not, so I'm going to say more than 50% of the time, I may be a little wrong on that. I don't even understand the method to the madness sometimes. I'll give you an example. So if I get somebody who's DWI, driving while intoxicated, take them to the jail, they will not take them. I've never seen them take a DWI person in the 3 years that I've been dealing with the Dub Brazel Detention Center. But the flip side of that, is I've seen them take shoplifters. So if they go into Walmart or any store and they steal $25, $50, $100 worth of clothes, considered a nonviolent offense, they're taking them and holding them in the jail. I don't understand the method to the madness. I don't work there, but it makes no sense to me. I know that I personally have arrested people, felon in possession of firearms, which is called possession by certain persons, and been denied for this person to go to jail, for them to be processed. So here's what this looks like. All I'm saying is that every crime should be processed at the jail. That's where our APHIS machine is at. That's where your fingerprinted and photographs are taken. You can be given an OR, right, which is release on your own recognizance. So, or post a bond. So the OR is in lieu of a bond. So I want to work out those issues. So at least every crime is being documented with the photograph, fingerprints, and it being attached to your name. The issues with that, when you don't do it, I'm going to give you the greatest example I can give you. For me, is when I catch a possession by certain persons, a felon in possession of a firearm. Those type of people, we have violent crime, a lot of shootings, a lot of gunfire. So people who are like that seem to be the ones involved in that. So if they if that's not documented anywhere on an officer safety perspective, let's say that I detain him, arrest him or her, the jail won't take them. I take their gun, secure it in evidence, do a report. Hopefully 3 to 6 months they go to court. I don't know what that looks like, because even at the prosecution level, it seems to be very slow moving in Jefferson County. But for the next 3 to 6 months, until a warrant gets issued or they actually get pulled into court for one way or the other, that doesn't show up in our systems. So now when another officer comes in contact with this individual 5 minutes or 5 days later, they have no idea that they just got caught with a gun, or they just got caught committing a felonious crime. And that's a huge officer safety issue. I think it's a public safety issue that we have to hold people accountable for. And I'm just telling you right now, I've been told that Arkansas Crime Information Center I've been told that they're highly upset with us, with Jefferson County as a whole, that we're not serving enough warrants. Because what that means, like, let me give you an example. So I don't want to get too far off path, but Devin, you're saying that, and I talk about holding somebody accountable, catch them with the gun. In the example I got, they're not lawfully allowed to have a gun. They're a felon. They don't have gun rights. You take their gun, store it as evidence. They kick rocks and go down the road. Now they get a warrant. That warrant ends in the system 3 to 6 months later. Me or somebody else finds them again, has a reason to come in contact with them for whatever. We run them. We find out they got a warrant. Guess what? They're not taking warrants a lot of the time. So when do they ever go to jail? When do they ever get in the judicial system? They get a court date and then failure to appear, FTA, and it just goes and goes and goes. And I believe that's part of why we have recidivism as a high rate that we do. And then I'm seeing people arrested 38, 40 times over the course of their life. You know, it's a snowball effect that we've got to fix, right? So, Kim says, if you go to Dove to pick someone up, they're in the holding area, why are they getting released with nothing before I can take them to the ER? So if I go to Dove to pick someone up and they are in the holding area, why are they getting released with nothing before I can take? You know, I don't know why they do it. It's absolutely insane to me what happens. I can tell you that on the times that we can take them to jail, that they will accept them. I would say more times than not as well, that the on-duty deputies find a reason to say, oh, you got to go to the hospital. They try to pawn off, that's from my perspective, they try to shift them over to the jail or to the hospital, which bogs down our emergency room, which bogs down our nurses and our med techs and our ambulance drivers and our doctors over to emergency room, because they're seeing people that don't even need to be seen. I honestly can tell you that, yes, if they have a medical emergency, they need to be seen. But these people, that there was no uses of force, there was no issues, they had no scrapes, bruises, bumps on them, but they might have said they smoked marijuana 24 hours ago. They're telling them, we got to take them to the hospital. Now our officer gets pulled off the street, go over to the hospital, sit with them for several hours while they get released, bog down the system, money gets spent. Again, part of that snowball that's just absolutely ridiculous, and that's got to change. So, Kristen, some are innocent until proven guilty as well. Not everyone charged and held automatically guilty. That's why humane treatment is a must. Yeah, I agree with that. Not everybody who's charged is found guilty. But I would say even the guilty ones, you must treat humanely, right? So it's not for us to determine innocence or guilt. Law enforcement officers are built off of probable cause. Reasonable suspicion develops into probable cause. Once you develop probable cause, you can make that arrest, effect that arrest. Then they go in front of a judge. Judge passes whatever on them, such as sets their bond, sets court dates, set their sentences after trial, so forth and so on. So yes, I'd agree. Everybody must be treated humane as a must, right? Feed them all, treat them all. Again, this ain't Disneyland. That's not what I'm expecting. So for you folks out there that think, oh, he's just trying to make it a nice, comfortable place, that's not what I said at all. But I do think they need to be treated fair, firm, humanely, which means they're getting meals, they're getting showers, they're having a place to lay down in bed at night, they're having a place to sleep, they're allowed resources that I'm going to develop with my team. They're allowed visits, they're allowed phone calls and communication, right? That's what that looks like to me. And I can guarantee you under our administration, that's exactly what will happen. So Devin talks about, okay, she just put the comment out there. You can volunteer for a committee or advisory board. You can call me at 870-556-0330 or email me at Lowery4sheriff at gmail.com. I would love to hear from you guys on what that looks like for you. Maybe if it's not you, then who. You got somebody you work with or somebody who's been involved with law before. I know I've had a conversation with a few of you. At my private business, Diamond State Canine, we absolutely love rehabilitation. We have several convicted felons that work for us, and it has turned out great for us, great for our business, great for them. And I think I do a good job, along with Devin and Kathy, partnering with these individuals and making society a better place by imparting some of our know-how with people and giving them a chance. A lot of times that's all you need is a chance. So we were all born from the same place. We all started down the road of life. Some of us we all came to an intersection, and some of us took a left, some of us took a right, and some of us went straight. And we didn't know where that was going to take us, but it ended up taking them down a path that maybe had a less desirable result than you or I. So let's quit passing judgment on people, right? Just because they screwed up doesn't mean we don't have an opportunity to help them fix themselves. And that's what this is all about. So many people say things like, well, they shouldn't put themselves there, etc. But humane treatment is necessary. Yeah, that's not a better said statement, Chris, out there. I mean, I'm going to tell you right now that there are many people out there that I've seen get put in jail that didn't really put themselves there. I mean, I think there is some sort of ownership in all things, but I will tell you that due to circumstances that involved situations, people ended up in jail. Like I have never ended up in jail, but I sure could tell you, well, there's probably been times I could have, if I didn't just, turn left, turn right, make my move, right, to get away from a situation. But sometimes I do not know everybody's situation. But before you know it, you're in a bad situation. I used to tell my children this all the time. Be careful who you run with, because if they go out, you're with them, and they do some horrendous act, you're held liable for that too, right? And so sometimes I know of a situation here locally. I won't speak on the town that it was in, but it was about a year and a half ago. There was a situation where everybody in the car went to jail. Every single person went to jail, and I believe there was a couple of people that really didn't have something to do with that, right? I didn't work the case directly, but I'm just telling you, I agree that not everybody put themselves there, right? And even if they did, we owe it to them to provide them a way out, whether that's 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 years, 20 years, whatever that looks like, to help them be a better person, to be a better productive member of society when they come out. So that's what the Lowery4sheriff administration is all about. So doesn't the jail have medical staff? Oh, hang on a second, I skipped one. So I know my polling place now, just got to get name change done. Okay, Devin says, doesn't the jail have medical staff that work on site? If so, why aren't these people kind of triaged through them instead of wasting resources on those who may not really need medical attention? So I can only tell you, Devin, what I'm being told. Chris Lowery, have never seen a medical person at the Dove Brazel Detention Center. It's not saying they're not there. I'm telling you, I've never seen one. I had a conversation just last week with a mutual friend of mine and yours who is a nurse. And what he told me is that after 5 o'clock, there is no medical staff in there. It's all outsourced, send them to the ER type deal. That has to do with money and resources or whatever. That is number one. I got a list of things, number one priorities that I'm wanting to get changed, period, right? Because if you don't have medical staff there, I mean, our ambulance service and our paramedics, our EMTs are already stretched thin with everything going on in the streets. So now if you got to wait on them to get to the jail to provide the basic life-saving skills that are needed, we're behind the 8 ball on that, right? So we have to have medical staff there, and the goal will be to get them there on a 24/7 basis and do exactly that, triage them. At the previous detention facilities that I worked at, the previous detention facilities that I utilized, there was medical staff that would come down and exactly do that. I'd be booking them into the jail. The nurse would come down, triage them, make an evaluation, so they got to go to the hospital or they're staying here. And I've never seen that happen here. So for me to speak intelligently on that, factually, it's tough for me to do. But I'm being told there is no one there. And that's sad. What do? You got, I think at the forum, they said something about 280 some odd personnel in the facility. I know it's like a 315, 318 capable facility. That's a lot of people with a lot of possibilities of trouble with no medical staff. We're just asking for people to go untreated, right? So we got to fix that for sure, ladies and gentlemen. We got to, and that's on my priority of things to do. So good evening, Jackie. Good evening. Thank you for joining our live. Oh, Kristen says, I put myself there, but I still deserve humane treatment, medical care, which I didn't receive at Doug Brazel in 2022. So a couple things I like about that statement, Kristen. Ownership. You said you put yourself there. Ownership. I love it. When someone owns part of their behavior or part of what they do, that's the direct line to start getting better and seeking help and changing your trajectory, right? So that's awesome that you said that. Saddens me that so that would be 4 years ago, 3.5, 4 years ago in 2022, you needed medical attention at Doug Brazel Detention Center and you didn't get it. So that tells me that what I just spoke about, even though I don't work there, that's a problem. It was a problem 4 years ago. It's a problem now. So that goes with what I would say. If you want change, ladies and gentlemen, you've got to change the sheriff. You've got to change your leadership. You've got to change the way we're doing business. 4 years ago, it was just like it is now, according to what she just told me. We got to change it. Let's see. Great point, Devin. There was a nurse at one time who had a nasty attitude and refused to do CPR, and supposedly a vet providing doctor care, but that could have been just a rumor. Yeah, hopefully that was a rumor. Hopefully. But I will say that I have personally said, and I'm not going to talk about it specifically, but you just said right there, your statement, Kristen, was that there was a nurse at one time who had a nasty attitude and refused to do CPR. I saw it on video where people, officers, detention deputies, did not do CPR in a situation that required life-saving measures. And that's what I talked about the other night at the forum. Every person at the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office will be CPR certified, be trained in it, and understand how it works, when to apply it, how to apply it, or they won't work there. It will be an annual or biannual requirement, and then we will include that in our 40-hour training, because it was absolutely sad to see someone losing their life, a deputy just standing there like they had no clue what to do, like it was day one on the job. So who has decided when a person needs to go to the hospital? So great question, Kathy. My experience, the deputy. The jail deputy that has zero medical experience with zero knowledge, who may work at the jail for a month, may work there for 20 years. I'm not sure. I've seen both. And they come out and they start twisting words and saying, you want to go to the medical, you want to go to the hospital, don't you? You want to go to the hospital, don't you? There is no set of guidelines, because I have had it where they're like, no, we'll take him. The very next night, different deputies, same situation. No, we won't take him without going to the hospital. So from my perspective, from my experiences, it has been dictated by whoever's working intake at the time. There is no clear defined, we take this, we don't take that. It's hit or miss. Let's see, Devin. Well, that's very interesting, considering I swear I heard someone speak on the jail medical staff at the recent forum. You already know. It's one of those deals that some of the information that was being pushed out in the forum, I will not say were lies, because I don't work there, but they weren't the complete story. As Paul Harvey used to say, now for the rest of the story. And that's what I try to do, is put out there what the rest of the story was, so that the voter, that the constituent, that the citizen, that the community member would know, hey, he said this, but in reality it's this. And that's all I was trying to do. So let's see. Chris Phillips, some people believe you won't be able to do all the things you say because of budget constraints. How will you overcome the budget constraints? So obviously, to get your budget approved, it's got to go through the quorum court and the county judge. So I've said often and loud, I'm not somebody who takes no for an answer. I figure out how we get to a yes. So I'll work those issues by talking to them. I'll show them in black and white on paper what that looks like, justifications for my budgets. but I will also shift salaried people around. I will shift deputies around, stagnant hours to ensure that we have or stagger hours to make sure that we got coverages in the jail, on the street. Even me as the sheriff will go out and work, or inside the jail and work, right? So that's what that looks like. So I'll work with what I got until we can get more money and more bodies to work with what we got. So yes, now a matter of if I can do it. Some people are saying that I can't do it because of budget restraints. I call bull on that. It can be done. It just may be done slower, and it may be done with more red tape and more bureaucracy that's causing an issue. But I have the knowledge, power, experience, know-how to overcome those, right? So I'll just point blank. If I take a budget, I mean, it just looks simply like this. If I take a budget to the quorum court and they don't approve it, and I got justifications why, I will make sure that they're able to publicly have to say why they're not approving it. You know, I think every budget has to be within 10% of the last year's budget. And I'm also being told that there is a emergency reserve fund to get the jail back in order that is locked and ready to go. So I think if the current quorum court could get past their issues with the county judge, that money could probably already be starting to be spent. I don't know that for sure, but I do feel like that's part of it. So it's not about taking a no for an answer. It's about getting to the yes. If they tell me I don't have the money, why? And if I can show them by looking through the budgets, using people that's on my team to dissect the issues and show them how we can. Plus, I plan on utilizing my reserve force partnerships with all my metropolitan police departments within the county, state police, etc., to accomplish the mission. Do I think I could do it by myself? Absolutely not. It's a team effort, team concept. I've spoke about that regularly and often about how this looks. And yes, Chris, if they don't give me the money, that's going to be tough, but it still can be done. Let's see. Kristen says, you held a nursing license for almost 20 years and it's unacceptable for a nurse to refuse to do CPR. Hey, I would say it's irresponsible and unacceptable for a first responder to not be CPR certified, and that includes your detention staff. Unacceptable, inexcusable. If the person says they need to go, they just call EMS. You know, part of that annoys me, Kim, is, and I don't know what y'all's rules of engagement are, but if you are on that ambulance, I think you have a certain amount of skill set and education that you could make an informed decision. So if you show up, I don't know that they have to do that. You should be just transporting them if y'all don't recommend that they need to be transported. So, Luke, you're funny. So I'll go ahead and say it. I'll say Indiana. They're 15-0, undefeated season, small school. I think that would be pretty awesome to have a 16-0 season. And you know, I think I heard it said on one of the pundit shows that I was listening to, talked to, whatever, that you know, they were a bunch of 3 and 4 stars making it happen. So it's kind of the underdog type situation. I know they're the #1 team in the country, but I'm talking about whole year they weren't supposed to be here and done it. What that coach has done over the past 2 years has been amazing. So, you know, I'm not always for the favorite, but they'll be the #1 team. And then as far as they're just, you know, they're not spending millions of NIL dollars and what that looks like. So I'll say Indiana. Kim says she hope both lose. Yeah, I guess that really can't happen, but we can always hope. So anyway, what does Kathy says? Hold pressure on wounds and do CPR, right? You do what you can to save a life. Yeah, so nothing about that is funny. It was just, it tickled me, Kathy, with that question, because several months ago, as our police department obtained several new officers, some of them had no idea what to do. They'd never been in law enforcement or security before. But this particular day, I had a person riding with me, and I ended up getting in a physical altercation with an individual. And this person that was riding with me, that's being trained by me, it was on day 1 or 2, they just stood there and watched, almost in shock and awe at what I was having to do. And it was a little bit of a struggle. I didn't lose. But afterwards, I asked this individual. I made him watch the tape because everything was recorded on our car and body cameras. I made him watch it. Said, "Explain to me why you just stood there." And they said, "Well, I didn't know what to do." And I said, "Do something." Not knowing what to do is not an excuse to not do anything. And that's when you said that. That's what made me chuckle. Is that nobody should be standing around with their hands in their pocket for sure. You know, I mean, it's not difficult if somebody's bleeding to say, "Oh, I should do something to stop the bleed." If somebody's not breathing, I should do something to try to get them to breathe, right? So nothing about CPR is funny. You just made me chuckle because when I actually said to this individual, I said, "I don't care if you bite the toe, do something if I'm fighting this person." So my point to that was just do something. Just don't stand there. Standing there is unacceptable in any first response medic type situation, period. So, yeah, they should know how to apply tourniquet, and they will. If they don't, they will. Lord knows I've put on enough in my career, specifically down here. But yes, we will do some TCCC medic classes. That's what everybody will be going through. I've got buddies that teach that, as well as there are plenty of people here in Jefferson County that can teach that. To be able to do the tourniquets as well as the stop the bleed CPR. So we definitely will make that a high priority as well as a recertification. So anyway, that's what that looks like. So as we wrap up for tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to tell you thank you so much for giving me the opportunity yet again on a weekly basis to come out and answer your questions. Hopefully you've gained a little bit more knowledge about me as a person and what I would do as your next sheriff. I ask you to please go out, tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell your neighbor to the left, neighbor to the right, neighbor across the street, your coworker, to just look at this guy, Chris Lowery for sheriff. He's talking about it. He knows what he's talking about. I'm going to bring change that is sweeping into Jefferson County to stop the bleed, where people are no longer wanting to exfil out of this county and they're wanting to make this their home and stay here and proud to be a Jefferson County resident, which will in turn get more people to move here, right? That's what it's all about, is let's stop this, make sure everybody feels safe and comfortable in their community, and then let's start growing this community. I was asked a question the other day if I thought we could get back to what the county and Pine Bluff used to be. And I said, I think the focus is wrong in that. I think we need to stop the bleed and stop people from leaving. I think the current county judge made a statement at the forum that 1,500 people are scheduled to leave out of here or anticipated to leave out of this county this year. We got to do something to stop those 1,500 people from leaving. Give them a reason why they want to stay, why they can stay. So starting in 2027, that's going to happen. When you elect me in 2026 and I get sworn into office in 2027, I'll be partnering with all the elected officials, JPs, county judges, the court system, the prosecutors, and then we'll be doing our part at the sheriff's office to stop the bleed in Jefferson County. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in for Real Talk with Chris Lowery, Real Talk, Real Change. I appreciate the opportunity. It means the world to me that you would listen to what I have to say each and every week. In the meantime, I want you to shoot me any questions that you have. 870-556-0330, Lowery4sheriff.com, or you can email me at Lowery4sheriff@gmail.com, or you can just send me a message here on Facebook. I'll be glad to get back to you on that. Look forward to the next forums coming up. You guys get involved in politics. Let's make the change that's needed in Jefferson County. And as always, remember, God bless Jefferson County.